Hello. So it's day 6 now on the slow boat to Melbourne. We've travelled 280 miles since dismasting, and I'm going to break the 500 mile barrier today. So currently there's 506 miles to Melbourne. The wind has died down overnight. You can see actually the sea state's really died down behind me as well. And it's slowly clocked round onto the beam. So we've got that same old problem of trying desperately not to be pushed to the east of the rum line, the straight line between us and Melbourne. And at the moment it's okay. So I'm not going massively fast, but what this trysail is doing is pushing the back of the boat away from the wind enough so that I'm not being pushed too far to the east, and we're just about holding our ground. I'm pretty happy with the progress we made yesterday. It actually really felt great to get moving. And last night, kind of for the first time, I was able just to sit on deck and chill for a bit. And what was incredible about that was I just heard this little plop next to the boat, and I thought, what's that? And then again, and this seal, a tiny little seal, I mean, it looks like a juvenile to me, but I don't know anything about these things, came next to the boat and was playing with the boat for half an hour. It was just magical, absolutely magical, and I could have sat for hours and watched it, and I did talk to it a lot. It just looked like it was having a lot of fun. It's so mad to be. I didn't even know that seals just hung out in the middle of the ocean like that. I kind of thought they were next to the edges, never imagined that they were in the middle. So that was quite special. And then this morning, I've been generally sleeping through the night, which is an unusual thing to do when you're alone on a boat. You normally sleep for very short periods of time, but there's nothing really that can happen to me out in the middle of the ocean. So I've been sleeping for longer periods. And this morning I woke up and I looked out of the cabin windows on the starboard side, and there was an orange light coming through, and I got up and went out to see the most amazing sunrise, just spectacular. And I guess it's just a reminder that all of the rubbish things that have happened in the last week or so, just what an utter privilege it is to still be out here and see these things and experience these things. I'm one of the few humans on the planet that gets to see this, and I do feel lucky. Despite everything, I do feel lucky. I just downloaded the latest weather forecast, and it's not full of joy. The major thing is that at the moment, in a week's time on the 27th, the forecast is showing a huge depression coming straight across my path, and I mean huge. This is my big concern in the next week. It's still 7 days away. It's forecast for the 27th, which is the day after the Sydney-Hobart starts. And it's a depression that, if we go back, you can see it forms very, very quickly here, and then moves off to the east, and it's windy. I mean, really windy. So here, this is 67 knots on the grid file there. Here that's 56. So all around the centre of this depression, it is unbelievably windy. So for me, I don't want to be anywhere near that. I can pretty much draw a line, I guess, from here, let's say from here down to there. I don't want to be anywhere to the east of that line. And that's something definitely I need to think about over the next few days. it's just cut to now. We can see that we're kind of on the edge of a lighter band of breeze, but if we forward, the breeze is going to get stronger. And then look, here's another front here, so we've got that rotation and then the downwind, which is great. So tomorrow, by this evening and tomorrow, I've got some really good ability to make ground, but in light of what we've just seen, I won't be going straight down the line to Melbourne. I'm actually going to be sailing north. So it's not the best forecast, but that's kind of the nature of it. You know, we don't get to pick the weather. We just have to work out how we're going to deal with it. And it's interesting. It's actually interesting for me because I've gone from being in a boat where I can position myself ahead of weather systems. You know, I'm moving so fast that I can actively get out of the way and use them to my advantage. And so, you know, when the mast was up, I was actively positioning myself ahead of these weather systems to take advantage of the wind and the flat water and move with them through the ocean. And now I've gone to completely the opposite end of the spectrum, where I am totally at the mercy of what comes. I cannot get out of the way. I just need to try and position myself as well as possible and then be ready to deal with it when it arrives. I did make a deal with myself on about day 2 that I wasn't going to just kind of fester away. I think it would be really easy with this kind of amount of time and this slow progress, and it would be really easy just to sit around and just let life happen to you. But I kind of made a deal with myself that I was going to try and do something every day to make my situation better. And I've been quite busy with sail making and setting up the rig in the last couple of days. But I was thinking about what I could do now. I think the sails are as good as I'm going to get them. What could I do now to make a difference? And I've been having waves breaking into the back of the boat a lot. And that is because there's still a lot of weight in the back of the boat. And now we need the weight in the bow. I think that will help a lot with making progress. So my job today is going to be to move all of the sensible weight that I can up into the bow. That's going to be quite a workout, and hopefully that will make life easier with the waves coming into the cockpit and might actually help us again with kind of making ground to windward. I'm going to start off with my big A2 spinnaker, which is all the way down that side. It is too heavy for me to just lift and pull, so I'm going to use a block and tackle to drag it out. Done. So the next thing is to remove everything from the port tunnel. So that's all the stacking bags, and I'll put the ones that I don't need forward. And then in the back of there as well are the anchors, which are sealed in position for racing. I can unseal them now and move them, probably not right into the bow because I don't want them to fall around, but I can certainly move them further forwards in the boat. working, it's really blown up out here. The waves are getting quite big, definitely over 3 meters. But we're sailing along really well, and I'm really happy with the course too. We're averaging close to 5 knots. It actually feels like the boat's sailing, which is amazing, and the motion is definitely better now I've put some weight forward. But sometimes the waves are breaking just kind of on the boat or next to the boat. There's a nasty kind of dump, and I'm just keeping an eye on everything. I think the breeze is probably up to 27, 28 knots now, and I just don't want to overload the rig, so I'm just going to do a check now. So look, can you see this wave here? We're going to land badly off that one. And then look, this one behind me is pretty big. It's only going to build as well. It's going to get windier overnight, so I do need to be a little bit sensible about how long I keep that trysail up for. The problem is I know the minute I take it down, I'm going to start going east again. But I'm pretty happy with this setup. One more thing to do, so this sail here, I'm going to put that in the bow too. And then I think that's my work for the day done. I can see that a few of you have asked how I actually set the jury rig up in the first place. And I did take some videos, a few videos, while I was actually sorting the mess out, dismasting. A little bit emotional. So one of the other things I'm going to do while I've got time today is just kind of put together a bit of a compilation of that footage and an in-depth explanation of how I've actually set the jury rig up, and I'm aiming to share that with you tomorrow.